Hello everyone, once again, this is Cole Century with Champions Online. So as I'm speeding through some of these things, I've kind of missed out on some opportunities sometimes to be able to explain things in more detail. So just to let you know, I will try to catch up on that. Okay, now you gotta watch out around here. They fixed up a lot of things, but no, they didn't fix this one. That one right there, even though he's a henchman, he's classified as tough, and he does a lot of damage because of it. Tough class enemies are supposed to be more like when they're trying to get a group of enemies together and they want, not a group of enemies, group of players together, they want to present a decent challenge to them, they'll label enemies as tough class. Sort of like how the enemies were much easier in the, what do you call it, tutorial? So my brain just blanks things out. They were weak classification, this is the reverse, tough classification. So, if you go into this level and suddenly you're getting trashed, it's because that very first group has one henchman that happens to be classified as a tough class. So that's one of those bugs they never really fixed. Oh well. Let's see if I can block that big attack. There we go. I'm just trying to get my angle changed, actually, so I ran over for a bit. So you're pinned down when you're charging this one attack I'm using for my main attack, but on the other hand, aside from that, you can move around while your other energy builder is charging up, which gives you a nice opportunity to get in there and just, you know, keep up your attacks, but at the same time be able to... Oh, block that. Sorry, almost missed it. You can charge up your attacks... no, that's not what I was saying. Sorry, I got distracted. Now my brain doesn't want to work. Ah. Anyways, you have the opportunity to move around and reposition. This is really good if you need to be positioning for like area of effect attacks, such as a cone of area of effect. You really have to worry about your positioning, things like that. Point blank area of effect attacks, things like that. So, yeah, sometimes these bad guys will have little things to say, but I tend to ignore them, I guess. Just because I've already seen it all. Oh, darn you. So he's a part of the group that I was just with, I think, but he's running away for some reason. Oh well. So, let's see if we can go ahead and get him out of the way. Pull back a bit. I can't wait to get my first heal in here. It's going to be really nice just to not have to worry about that so much. If I remember correctly, it's every third level for a long time at least, you get a new power. You got one at level 6 and I think 9, which of course was my slotted passive, which by the way, you can only slot a passive in for either hybrid role or, and some of them are hybrid role only, but most of them have something where it'll say something like it's an offensive slotted passive, so it can only be in an offensive role of the appropriate type, such as melee or ranged, and hybrid. Hybrid can slot pretty much any of them. And on the other hand, like if I was going to be a, let's say, a tank type character, I could not slot in some sort of tanking ability and simultaneously play in, say, support for the extra energy boosts, so that I get lots and lots of energy. Oh, right. I am glad I paused to talk, because that particular guy that I rescued, it didn't actually count him as being rescued immediately, and I've done this where I've left it, and it still says I have one guy left to rescue, and I have to go back in, rescue the first guy, and leave. It's kind of silly, but at least it could be fixed without too much trouble. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and head back to Kodiak again. Mr. Monster Truck guy. Alright. You're okay, kid. Those scientists are happy to be back home and out of the hands of those purple gang goons. Kevin Poe is determined to make the new Purple Gang the biggest and baddest in West Side. That's why Kevin Poe employed Waylon Talos to create a psychic superweapon that will depower anyone with superpowers. That's not what they said earlier. That's a dire consequence for every superhero in the city, but it gets even worse, Cyragos. If this psi bomb goes off, it may also cause permanent brain damage to every civilian caught in its blast radius. If you use the bomb before he turns west side into a neighborhood of drooling, brain-dead zombies. The new Purple Gang hideout is north of the city jail entrance in a big warehouse. Good luck. Okay, now, maybe I'll just assume that he's not quite as dumb as it sounds, because I'm just thinking, why would he want to use this device that can, blast the, anyone who's got superpowers when he himself has superpowers? I mean, Kevin Poe's going to actually also be affected by it. I'm going to assume he has something that you never see that would protect him. Oh, and you will see him with a gas mask. That's just part of his standard costume. Which is kind of cool. Alright. Head on to the hideout. And let's go ahead and get to blasting. Actually, let me think for a minute here. This could be a bit of a longer one if I... Oh, no, I can't just... Oh, wait, I can stealth this one, can't I? Because I have a stealth character. I still need to clear out several groups of enemies near the end, though. One way or the other. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty dangerous. But I could probably skip a chunk of the level, so the question is it worth it? I'm going to go for it. I'll skip at least a few rooms. Okay, looks like I did take some hits, but we're closing in on where I need to start basically taking care of these guys anyway, so it's not too big of a deal. See, now that time I saw the guy start to charge up and I wasn't actually blocking because I figured I was almost certain that I would defeat him with the tiny amount of health he had left before he actually got his attack off. You start to learn tricks like that over time, or learn you could do a partial charge sometimes on minions, and sometimes you've got to use a full charge and so forth. So, it's just stuff you pick up on over time. As you continue to play, you can fiddle with the timing a bit and all that kind of thing. I'm going to go ahead and activate that temporary damage boost, because that'll help me get through this area faster. And I'm not a fan of the early levels. I think most people are generally going to be like that, where they'd rather have all their basic powers in. A lot of games are like that, where you don't even have the basics for the first little bit. That's actually something I tend to disagree with. I think that it would be better to have upgraded version of powers, or have powers that you're adding on that are at least not your core abilities. Start with your core abilities, then add on some of the nice, flashier powers over time. That's kind of my opinion. But, that's me. Actually, I am hoping to go into game design at some point, and I actually study these games, and that's one of the things I'm looking at, is I would rather have players start off with a small number of core abilities that ensures that they have what they need to function without necessarily having all the abilities that are, later on going to be added in. It's just kind of a different approach. Of course, my game design I've been working on for the past, I don't know how many years, is much more complicated than that. So it's going to be an interesting one if I ever get a chance to get that up and running. Hopefully I will. Anyways. Oh. He may have had his arms crossed like he's just standing there, but I saw that charge up of his. Anyway, so by clearing out that last room, that's probably farther back than I would normally need to. But by the time you get to this hallway, you do need to realistically clear it out, and I'll be able to explain that in a minute. But the basics is that when you enter the boss fight room, the boss, Kevin Poe, is not alone. And both he and a group of enemies will come after you at the same time. And you can certainly take these guys on later on when you have all of your basic abilities and can do things like, self-heal and put on some toggled forms. And that's another thing I needed to explain about. But anyways, it's the toggled forms. But you can't really handle that so well to low levels, and often you're going to really need to be able to back up and get the enemies to just kind of be cleared out real quick so that you can do it. And there's actually 2 ways to go. So this should be the last normal group before we get in here. So what I do is I find that Kevin Poe does not chase you as far as the actual enemies will. Maybe because of his positioning in the room or something. Because he is farther back in there, but whatever the case is, it allows me to kind of whittle down the group. Okay. I will admit, I love some of Kevin Poe's lines. He is one of my favorite villains, even though he can be a little bit cowardly at times. Most of the time, he's just pretty cool. It's just me, anyways.
We have incoming, you incompetent dolt! Reset those capacitors now! Well, look who's already here. Why, just in time. To be too late. Think hard while you still can, hero. Dreams of you, your friends, and every citizen of Westside. When me and my new purple gig take over this town, it's gonna be so awesome. I promise we'll leave you idiots drooling.
So many bad puns, so little time. See, I'm not seeing him follow me, but I ain't taking chances. See, these guys, you know, I already took down 1 guy, so we got what looks like 3 henchmen and a... Whoa! Time to pull back. Otherwise I'm going to have to fight them all at the same time. I'm blocking as I do this to kind of give myself some extra leeway here. Anyways, Kevin Poe's usually not following me this far. Did they change that? I hope not, because I could be in trouble. Uh-oh. Okay, when you see him doing that attack, where he says, your soul will be mine, or whatever, that's actually a lifesteal attack. He'll heal up fast. So what I'm going to do now, come on, hit the wrong button, is I'm going to teleport out of here. With any luck, I can get him to stop chasing me. Okay. Yep, he did. So that's why I was clearing out this room too, was that I had the ability to break away. See, now I've cleared out his minions and it'll reset the fight. He hasn't taken any damage, but his minions are dead. Well, knocked out, I suppose, since it's a superhero game. Now let's try that again, this time with me at full health. Alright, so again, gotta block the life steal every time or else it'll heal him fast. And I can quickly undo everything you've done. You can choose whether or not you want to block the dual gunslinging thing. When he does his backflip, that attack doesn't really do much other than put some extra things. This one you generally want to block because as the attack goes on, it gets stronger. Now, every time you take away a third of a supervillain's health, they'll drop a random power-up. So in this case, it was a little bit of a nice heal. It's kind of a nice little bonus. So, yep, he's dropped another heal this time. Let's prepare to block. Okay, it looks like this one's another... And normally I don't say prepare to block, but it's the first time. And so that was his lifesteal again. That could have gotten his health back up fast. So, there we go. Now he's down and out. There we go. Perk complete. Vanquished Kevin Poe. Alright, let's defuse the Psy Bomb. It's a big bomb. Anyways, let's go on out. This is the way out. So, yeah, it's not a full stealth, I guess, but it still allows you to skip a lot of the fights, and I'm kind of doing that because I know that I'm going to eventually be leveling out much faster than I can possibly basically make up for, I guess, with these stealth missions, and this way you don't have to spend quite as long just grinding through normal enemies. And that's just something I'm doing this time that's not really necessary, but it can be kind of a fun thing to be able to just kind of zip on through, and if there's something fun, I'll probably stick around and show it off, of course. But, you know, it's just one of those things. I'm going to have to go ahead and wrap up this video. Let's go ahead and talk to him first, though. So you stopped the Psy Bomb and you defeated Kevin Poe and his mercenary henchmen. Excellent work, Zyragos. Sorry, all of a sudden my brain didn't want to say the words I was reading. And here, a lot of times you have things like pose commanding jacket, pose bolstering jacket, pose enduring jacket. Yeah, okay. Alright, well, commanding is going to be best because that gives me a straight presence boost. Let's get this. I've been doing some pretty good work around here, Zyragos. I've passed your name along to my boss, Chief Surhoff. He's got his hands full dealing with a bit of a situation over at the prison and could use some extra help. Okay. So, I'm going to show you on the map here real quick. This is Millennium City. The darker area over on the left-hand side is where we're going to be going to for most of our missions right now. The sort of upper part that's a little bit of a lighter gray is actually going to be the area that's sort of a mid-level area that we'll eventually go to, or at least can go to. And then the right-hand side that's a little bit darker is actually a mid to high level zone. I think it goes up to close to level 30, somewhere around in there at that top end. Like 25 to 30 range of levels and whatnot. And then the central area where you can see, for example, they have the auction house, the bank, the superjet. This is actually all an area that is just basically sort of a player hub more than anything else. You'll see a lot of players hanging out there. And then as a starting mouse over, the little blue icon there is actually where one of my missions can be turned in. That's fusion-powered modifications. So I'm actually going to go ahead and, between missions, I think I'm going to go ahead and go over there real quick. It's a good time to do it. Just so I can show you that without the intervening amount, but just to show you where we are on the map. And yeah, you can zoom in and out as you need to. Things like this, the onslaught targets, for a special new thing that I probably won't be showing much of. Anyways, I will see you in the next video.